Good evening, and welcome to an earlier than scheduled Saturday Night Reaver. Yeah, obviously, with Christmas being here, round the corner, and basically I was off today. so apart from doing the usual stuff you do prior to Christmas, getting things ready, presents wrapped, and all that sort of stuff, I thought, you know what, let's get an early one going, and see how we go from there. So obviously some of you joined me last night for painting and basing these little dudes. I was, prior to coming online, just doing a decal for the company, which, yeah, because I didn't realise that with the the decal sheets you get with the box set, that you actually get some banners designs. So where the other two I've been making up myself out of random decals. Judge first, literally just after I put the stream up, but you Sophus are first of the live stream. There you go. There's a new designation, first, and obviously Forest whenever Edwin turns up. So yeah, so I was just doing a micro soul on the little chap. So, but yeah, so these were done last night. There was several people in the chat, and I put the question to them: what would you prefer for tonight's stream? It was, I don't want to do more infantry. Infantry, I think I'm pretty, I've obviously, well, pretty okay with. I've got another sprue of already base painted for these guys, so I will have to do them before I start doing the Emperor's Children stuff. But more importantly, with these guys, they need more tanks, and the vote was 3 to. Well, there was no againsts really, so the vote is tanks. So we're building some tanks tonight. For those who haven't been in before, the tanks that have been done so far, all rhinos, and the contemptors on top of the little box with the 2 sprues worth of troops that I've already done, and I keep on forgetting to bring the bloody thing in, which is annoying, to be honest. Let's put this outside. I'm going to swap around so I don't. 2 seconds. And we are with the Jack Daniels Honey once more, with Pepsi Max. Nice. Ooh. A little bit stronger than I have it, but then I just literally poured in a load of Pepsi Max. Sorry. So yeah, that's the plan for this evening. Building Sicarans and probably some Predators as well, because I've got 4 Sicarans to be built plus 6 Predators. So it's a nice little, operational start. Really, I'm holding out for Land Raiders. I want Land Raiders force with my guys. That's my dream. Just like phalanxes and phalanxes of Land Raiders. The traditional all-round tank. But so I did do the little plasma plasma coils earlier on, so they're all blue and glowy. But yeah, they actually, once you get started, they are quite easy to get through with these guys, which I think obviously yesterday a lot of people. Ooh. Funnily enough, I had somebody say yesterday about volume. Hold on a second, I'll just put the mouse down. So, how's that? Is that any better? Because I've got the sound right up now. Like the fist's still wondering what to do with mine. So that's the thing. It's like doing. I wanted to do a Siege of Terror Force. You know, I've got the on OBS. I've got the volume app to max at the moment. Hey, Judge. So I'll just see if there's anything else I can adjust to make it a bit louder. It doesn't look like I can. Boo, boo, boo. Yeah, so I'm not talking any quieter than well, at the start I was talking quieter. Hey, if it isn't the glorious artist's empire, he's graced us with his presence. So there you go, little flag dudes there, which is okay. It's good. I hope you're having a wonderful time pre-Christmas and stuff, my friend. Well, all of you at least, anyway. You know, you come to hang out. So it was on last night, in a very impromptu stream, and just for you artists as well. There's some little tonks and little contemptors. If it can focus, come on, focus. Get in your face. No, not having it. There we go. Oh, it focused there for a second. Oh, there you go. Actually, get one of these other ones because I did do the little white stripe for veteran sergeant. So before he was interred, he was a veteran sergeant. There you go. Put these little dudes on here as well. I really should have brought the other box with me. Start popping them in. Stand there. There you go. Dude, I need 3 more jobs to afford a Joy Toy night. Really? Have they actually put the price out for them yet then? Because I did say it's going to be pricey in one of their posts on Twitter. I like the tiny units much more than I thought I would. Great sculpts. And that's the thing, there was a lot of like people who weren't happy with some of the, you know, the jankier looking dudes. But then the problem is where they've worked with 3D printing, that's fine for small scale, but for massive mass market scale, you have to do the injection molding. 3D printing is not viable on that scale as yet. So you're going to get those sort of little bits and pieces, and they're quite dynamic. You know, not all of them. So like these guys have not really got anything wrong with them. These are Salt Marines. It's only been with like the rank and file. It's like, you know, a bit there, and touching up and that bit there. And if you've got like severe OCD, you can just file that down, but on the great scheme of things, you don't see it. That's the sort of view you're going to have of your men, your dudes. So it's it's not worth it. It's not worth getting so irate. And let's say you're getting, let's say, 2 sprues of infantry in a box, so you've got a lot of Marines there for this game. Obviously, it is a big scale game, but most of the people that are collecting it are people that have been involved in the heresy, and they've been making big scale armies out of 28 mil. So yeah, that's what I say. Love all the rhinos. Eldritch Seer, hello there, welcome. Great work on those, love your bases. Thank you. If you were changing last night, I was doing the bases live. So the way I do my bases, I cut. These are actually the Legion's bases. So these are the ones that you get, the sculptured ones. So I super glue all over it, stick the guys on top, and then I pick out some of the little rocks, strategically placing them. Then I sprinkle the mix, which is hard to see. So the sand has got a mixture of textures in there. So you've got like some like gravelly bits, which are like hobby, like hot slate like effect stuff. That's the grey parts you can see in there. The white stuff is bicarbonate of soda, and the sand is sand. So the bicarbonate of soda and sand gets in there, gives you the texture, but bicarbonate of soda locks in with superglue really, really quickly and easily. So it's like cement, basically. And once that's done, with a small brush, I'm going in between and around their legs with standard Mechanicum grey. Then with another brush, I'm sort of dry brushing roughly with Tyrant Skull, and then I'm going over the whole lot with my mix of Agrax water. So like sort of 50-50 Agrax water, roughly. Maybe a bit less or more, depends on my mood. But that sort of just ties it all together, goes into the shading parts where you want it to go, and that's basically it. So in the stream, I think it was like 2.5 hours I was on for last night. So they were all on the sprue. I painted them all little elite Terminators, and then based them as well. So 2.5 hours for a sprue. Obviously you spray it first, and then you go over it all with the contrast. But from that position, 2.5 hours for doing all of them. And you say they're ready for tabletop gaming. So that's what we want. But anywho's, yeah, you won't see. No, and that's the thing. You're not. It's a lot of people where they've got 3D printers. Yeah, you can get really great looking models and sculpts, but they're still really detailed. And compared to like the 3D print stuff that I got sent through, which were, well, they were like dead Marines, because somebody generously sent me out a load of 3D prints. Fraser Hepburn sent them out to us after he saw I was using like the old-fashioned, like the original Epic. I had an Epic Marine on a base underneath a ladder. So I painted him up as a Dark Angel. He'd fallen. But Sakarans, we have them. They are here, and they are, compared to some resin prints I've seen, these are still much better detailed in comparison. So yes, plastic has it, in my opinion. Am I being biased? Probably. Until they've, you know, perfected their craft. I will warn you as well, though, that I am actually going blind on a rocket cycle with these because I haven't got the instructions with me. But I'm assuming they're going to be similar to the rhinos in the fact that pretty straightforward to do. And plus I've built the big ones, so they're shouldn't be too tricky, he says. Because it's literally just the shell and then adding other bits. But yeah, the good thing about these kits, both the Predators and the Sakarans, is you notice you've got 4 turrets. You've got 2 autocannons. You've got 2 lots of Amiga plasma cannons. So you can have 2 Amiga 2 Amiga destroyers and 2 traditional ones. You've got options for the like sponsons, so heavy bolters or las cannons. And then obviously you've got little front bits there. So you can pop these in, and the magnet sizes for these are 6 by 1 millimeters. Hey Wes, well, greetings, evening all, finally caught one live. Well, you're more than welcome to join in the fun. As I said, I'm building these without instructions, which shouldn't be too hard because they're pretty straightforward. Previous experience with the big boys. But they were resin, oh my god. After I was just being so rude about resin. I'm not being rude. But, yes. So anyway, what's everybody up to tonight, hobby-wise? What are we working on? What are our plans? What are we hoping to get for Christmas, more importantly? I've pretty much had my Christmas with these lot turning up. So I'm not expecting much more. I do know there was one thing I asked for, which was LI related. So hopefully that hasn't been a problem, because as we know, a lot of the stuff has been hard to get hold of. I'm just doing that just to make sure the needle is clear. So yeah, so tank night is tonight. I was kind of hoping to have built these today, but obviously so much going on with the lead up to Christmas that I didn't have time really, so that's alright. I do tend, like, on the Wednesday night stream, which didn't happen this week because I was out, so I did the Friday night stream, which I sort of done it in reverse. I like to do building on the Wednesday, and hopefully what I've built on the Wednesday is what I paint on the Saturday. That's the theory. Hasn't worked out that well so far. Because sometimes, well, it used to be that where I had Thursdays off, I would start painting it then. But with my days off on Thursdays, I've kind of lost it because I look after my son, because he doesn't go to college on that day. So we go and do some exercisey type stuff. Been up since 2:30, just watching a bit of football whilst listening to you. No hobby tonight. I actually watched the highlights of the Tottenham Everton game prior to coming on, so that was quite nice. I was hold on. Ask for a Night Lance off my good lady, so fingers crossed. Yes, Lancers. We love Lancers. Oh, actually, funnily enough, I was earlier in the week. I haven't posted this anywhere yet, but I was curious as to how many points of Titans I have for Legions Imperialis. So I totaled them up, and at present, if I access the information, so at present, so this is all the Titans that I've built and painted. I also I calculated because the AT scores, because I hadn't updated it for a while. So with AT, obviously, it depends on the weapon loadout. So, for example, for my Warlord, Volcano Cannon, Apox, and Mori Quake Cannon is what I equipped it with. Melter, Las Blaster, and Turbo Laser for Reavers. Plasma and Vulcan for the Warhounds. Standard loadout for a Nemesis, and then the War Master Iconoclast, and obviously with the Dire Wolf as well. I think I've done that with the Nemesis, not the Nemesis, the shock weapon. So in AT values, total points is 55,150 points with those weapon loadouts. Obviously, it could be more, it could be slightly less in some cases. However, in Legions Imperialis, you pay for the Titan as a whole, in general, I think. I didn't really look too closely. I literally just done the holes. I didn't do weapons, so I don't think they could pay any difference on that. But anyway, so on Legions Imperialis, the total is 60,155 points. And that includes 69 Loyalist Titans and 82 Traitor Titans. Although that will change, as some of you know, I did post up a sort of say vague posting with a big X on it, indicating the 10th Legio will be underway soon. And nobody's actually asked me what Legio I'm doing, which I'm surprised. But yes, sorry, I'm just getting. There you go. So that's that. But at least I've got stuff to be getting on with. Once these tanks are done, and the last sprue of infantry is a lot for Imperial Fist as of yet, until, as I said, Land Raiders come out. With my Emperor's Children, I want drop pods. So I want drop pods for them, and what else did I want? Oh, like javelins and scimitars. Obviously, we'll have some Sicarans. So more of the sort of faster tanks, basically. Blends into the ethos of mobile warfare. It's just strange because when I first started working in Heresy on my Emperor's Children, I wanted to go completely different direction in comparison to the norm, because I wanted to make him as like a garrison force, like, and using fortifications, because they are meant to be like, you know, fast, mobile, and all that. I was just interested in having like a loyalist company that basically had been left somewhere and they'd just taken it upon themselves to be a defensive formation, because everyone would expect them to have, you know, all the fast and nippy stuff. It made sense to my mind. Right. Here we go. It says once the glue comes out. I've been watching a bit of TV, well, movies mostly, past day or so. Again, as the people in the chat yesterday, Thursday night after getting home, I watched 2 films whilst working on some stuff, which was Whiplash and The Usual Suspects. And last night started watching Platoon again. Haven't seen it for a while. I started watching. I didn't finish it last night, but look at that. It goes together so well. To be honest with you, I was a little bit like, oh, all these little parts and all that sort of stuff, but they don't take long. So, what with me talking, and the cleanup, not going too badly, and it's fairly straightforward to do. Hey Heat, how are you? What are you working on tonight? I'm not surprised you're here. I was talking about our beloved Purple Boys a little while ago. Whizzing through this. This is redonkulous. It's, the funny thing is, like, where I've been watching, as I say, like Platoon, seeing Johnny Depp as a fresh-faced young man is just crazy. Because you know it's Johnny Depp, and he's there. And you go, wow, how your life has changed since this role. I'm a little exhausted. Get the make sure. Quick scrape over. This is going ever so well, which is quite suspicious. turrets. Okay, it's really nice that they've incorporated the extra turrets so you can swap in and out between battles. You know, if you want to take lots of autocannons, especially if you're going up against a lot of jet bikes, you want the autocannons. Anything heavier, you use the plasmas. So it's piece turret. Obviously, you've got the section at the top there for putting in what do you call them? Hatches. So you do have options on here for a pintle mounted hatch. A little guy sitting there, if you so wished. Although it is I think it's a heavy bolter. There's a heavy bolter turret. Yeah, both are heavy bolters. So you've got a heavy bolter in the hull already. And you can have another one on the top, as well as two on the sides as well, because you've got heavy bolters and as cannons. Now you could, he says, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can. Sorry. You could magnetize them. I'm not going to, but you could. Because they've got some mag points there. Wow. So always mark with Sharpie the polarity. So these are the real bastards. Darts now, go darts. You're filling up your evening with sports today. Who's in the darts? To be fair, I haven't really watched darts for a long time. Van Muren is the only one I can think of that rings a bell. Or sounds like a dart person. Hey Gizmo, welcome back again, buddy. One of the few people that joined me last night. Poor soul. You got the tonks on the go. On the turrets. Magnets are done. Down to one side. Do some sections. The targeters. The tonks. Tonk targeters. That's what they're called. It's an official name. I had my dinner early today because I didn't have much in the way of breakfast. I only had like a pastry this morning after the shopping run, and so I thought I'm gonna have myself, in cold, windy weather. There's nothing better than a steak pie. So I got myself a steak pie, and that was delightful. I bought myself a. Well, I've got some sweeties in here with me to keep me company, and there's a mince pie there as well. First mince pie of the year. Also, like with my day off yesterday, I watched Godzilla -0. Which was cool. And they're actually going to re-release it in the cinemas in Japan anyway, but do it, play it in black and white, so it's more reminiscent of the original sort of Godzilla movies. I could have sworn I'd done that. January the 12th. Now, one thing I do need to do. Cell versus Goto. Got to. Legions. Imperialis. Sicarans. just want to see the picture. Yes, right. I wanted to see the picture purely because you may have noticed that they have two different targeting systems, targeting cowls. So one's like that, one's like that. So this one is for the autocannons, that one's for the Omega Destroyer. So just so everybody knows now. It's not Christmas around mine until darts is on and Italian Gruber falls off the Nakatomi Plaza. Well, Sam and Callan are in there watching Die Hard as we speak, so he's going to be falling. I would probably say within the next half an hour to 40 minutes. Some autocannons. It was quite a surprise, I think, to most people when they showed off the Omega Destroyer plasma weapons as being side mounted now, not as they are in the 40 in the Heresy model. Obviously, a different Forge World is producing them. Must be like Riser variant. They have all the variants in plasma. Anyways, have you had a rough day? Because I thought I saw you drinking Jack from the bottle. Basically, I got down to the last bits in there. So we've got basically 2 cans of Pepsi Max in there. Because it looks cool to drink straight from the bottle. So it's my favourite tipple at the moment is Jack Daniels and Pepsi Max. Or Jack Daniels Honey and Pepsi Max. This is pure hobby fuel. Tonks, eh, Kibblams? Yes, you were one of the people that voted for tanks when I asked the question. And we have got the Tonks. Looking like a wino without being a wino. Funny you should say that. My brother, my older brother, his tag on the Southend United forums is wino. Runs in the family, I guess. I suppose with my unkempt wild hair. I do look a little bit unhoused. I'm relaxing tonight. Got all my terrain orders sent out. Feels good. Nice. It's good to accomplish stuff, isn't it? And now all your orders are out in the wild. It's down to the mail services to get them to their target destinations. Have you done terrain for this as well? Or is it just like 40k heresy fantasy type terrain? So, autocannons, plasmas, paintbrush. Fingers crossed for you. Bit. I trained purely 8mm and I started selling it again because I was made redundant in November, which turned out to be great timing. So anyway, look at it, buddy. When I placed my original order, I did order myself the ruined buildings, which seems quite perverse, really, because the old Civitas stuff I used to cut up into ruined buildings anyway. I like to say that I may have influenced them in doing that. Just saying. Yeah, some coming to kids and buying our kits and then cutting them up into like ruined buildings for Titan bases. Has anybody been on and seen Rebel Moon yet? No, I haven't. I make layered styrene plastic stuff. Alright, cool. It's the best way to use it, horribly expensive stuff. That's later tonight or tomorrow. I've seen this at the top of Netflix, not looked into it though. Well, that's the thing, because it was, you know, a pitch for Star Wars that got sort of So there has been a lot of stuff in it that they say is no, there is a laser sword type thing in there. From I like watching Simon Mayer and Mark Mode with their views on movies, and yeah, they weren't ripping up trees. It's a good film, but it's not. It's original, but not original, because obviously there's certain things in there you can obviously see that they've got that from there. But then Mark Commode doesn't really like Snyder that much. As a person, he appreciates his work. You know, he's a great visualist, but just doesn't like the stuff he puts out. Right. So what I was thinking, which what was I thinking? Yes. So we've got turrets. Bit random, but how tall is a 28mm Warlord? Yeah, it's taller than the Joy Toy in Questoris 9. If that's what you was thinking, because some people, I know there's lots of people who've been thinking, oh, I'll get one of them and use it as a count as a Warlord. It doesn't compare. The scaling is going to be totally wrong because they're doing it on, just a large version of a 28mm. So it's going to look completely wrong, in my humble opinion. I'm going to go with the turrets and turrets. Of course, I'm going to go for the turrets. I'm doing turrets. I'm going to do the bolter pintle mounts on the auto cannons. I don't have any Kratos. To be honest, I wasn't too fussed about them. I really liked them in Heresy, but I wasn't too fussed at the time, so I didn't order any. However, because I was asked, "What do you want for Christmas? If you don't tell me, you'll just get some stuff that you probably won't like." So I went, "Okay." So I would have wanted some like another Thunderhawk or something, but you can't get hold of Thunderhawks for love nor money. They're all sold out. So I went, oh, Kratos Squadron, because I knew they were in. So that's my present, some Kratos. One trailer I did see, which it kind of tickled me a little bit. So again, when you're waiting to watch Godzilla Minus Zero, and you see Godzilla X Kong New Empire, which comes out next year, and you see a scene where Godzilla and Kong burst out of the ground and start running towards the camera together, you just think, oh my god. It's a Godzilla Kong buddy movie. No. So yeah, I was a little, it just made me like laugh. The seeing them like that. It's just not what I was expecting. I do enjoy monster movies, so like even like the old stuff, like Ray Harryhausen, all that sort of stuff. I've always enjoyed them because obviously it's like my childhood, watching it on a BBC Two or whatever. But that's why I was just like Minus Zero does remind me of the original sort of like Japanese monster movies. That's probably why they're also releasing it in black and white, because it has that feel about it. He's probably for that one, isn't he? Yeah. So there's an open topped turret. Which I've just noticed. They have to go undercover in a college to infiltrate a drug ring. Yeah, I'd actually believe that. But yeah, it was just, it was just like, oh right, okay. It just sort of, it took me out of the moment, if you know what I mean. The It's like Butch and Sundance. That's what I was seeing at the time when you've got like these two behemoths, these titans running towards the screen, and Kong has he's got a metal framed like knuckle duster because obviously Primate, he's developed tools because he's going around with like an axe type thing anyway. Because he's done that in previous movies where he's like picking up like a club or a tree as a club. Godzilla is awesome as always. I do prefer the Godzilla in the newer movies. Not to say like -0 is the newest, but that's the sort of retro one. So Godzilla has that retro look and feel to him. Whereas the Godzilla in Kong and Skull Island or whatever it is, those ones and Godzilla, the newer version, like the modern version, I don't know, because obviously -0 is set in like just after the Second World War. So interesting. Yeah, sorry, I just noticed the frame rate went down quite a bit there, so that was strange and unusual for this kind of day. Do you know if GW still makes Nuln Oil? Yeah, they still make Nuln Oil. It's one of their main sellers. They may have changed the recipe for it, like they did with Agrax, a little, tweaked it. They still do it, as far as I'm aware. Sponsons. Right. So this is technically the only letdown with the Sakaran kit, is that on the sponson side of things, you only get 2 sponsons. So unless you go really small with your choices of magnets, you're only going to have the ability to do that. I'm using a 5+ year pot of it. Well, it's definitely changed since you bought that. So I normally just use like Agrax for the most part anyway. So I think I've got like 1 pot of Nuln Oil, and I've got sort of several of Agrax. I did take a picture once of how many Agrax pots I had. I just kept on buying them because I knew that I would be using them. Does anyone know if Warhammer World's doing anything over New Year's? Have you seen anything? They normally do for like, you know, like not an open day, but you like ticketed event. But I haven't seen anything advertised for it. side sponsons. So after doing the infantry missile launchers yesterday, this is a welcome. Well, to be fair, the first time we're doing them, it's scary, but you get used to them. My Iron Hands base's colour is still paint from Vallejo, 2 washes of Nuln Oil. That's similar to my Emperor's Children, which is lead belcher spray with 2 coats of Drushy Violet. Hoping they're fairly similar now as the point is getting fairly empty. Well, they can always be different between bases anyway. Batches, sorry. Man, tracking down solar auxiliary information isn't easy on the web. What are you trying to track down? Find out which auxiliary fought with the Salamanders and Alpha Legion is hard enough, let alone colour schemes. That's the thing though, it's like you might get one but not the other, because there are literally thousands upon thousands of like units of auxilia. And obviously not all of them are mentioned. So I know, like with the Alpha Legion, you could field. Could you though? Because they were at Nuln together. Geno 52 Chiliad, who was one of the 100 divisions or brigades or armies. They were in Legion with them. But they, well, as far as I was aware, they were killed off in Legion, but they got name checked as a unit fighting on Terra. So apparently not. Well, each planet has its own auxilia, but then you've got auxilia which are like the like PDF, basically. The solar auxilia are like the elite sort of crack grenadier type units of the Imperial Army. So they get all the good shit. So they have their own like armor, weapons, an organisation. So they are like an elite formation of Imperial Army, or what was later to become Imperial Guard, or Astra Militarum, because they're not around at the moment, Astra Militarum. So it's the Imperial Army. Solar Auxiliary are, as I said, an elite formation of Imperial Guard. But I would literally it's hard, because if there's not going to be that much information about Solar Auxilia forces, because they don't really get a mention at all in the Heresy book series, and so because of that, they're not really about. You'll probably have something in one of the Forge World books where Solar Auxilia comes in, but I can't remember which one that was in. Might have been 5 or 6. But yeah, I would just go. I'd create your own. You know, give your own background. Also, decals and stuff. Look for a cool small decal that you could put onto the banners, and then some other, like, numbers of the unit numbers or something like that, and then just have them tied in, because unlike, I suppose, like Titan Legios or Night Houses, like they served alongside multiple legions, Astartes. So, Fire Wasps could have served with Night Lords at some stage. They've all done stuff alongside them because of their independence, sort of thing. And it depends if they go, yeah, all right, I'll walk here and do that stuff. But with Imperial Guard or Solar Auxilia, I imagine it's going to be slightly different because of the nature of their formations. They're not as independently minded or structured as things like Titan Orders and Night Households. So yeah, I would look around. Like, are you looking for a unit that can serve with both, or units that are tied to both separately? Because I'm assuming you wanted one unit that could have served with Alpha Legion and served with Salamanders. In 200 years before Conquest, there you go. In 200 years of the Great Crusade, yeah, they could have served with multiple elements of each legion, because obviously the legions were split down amongst the groups. So, but then Alpha Legion didn't come into it until much later. One for each, yeah. So Alpha Legion will probably have the least contact with Imperial Army units because they didn't turn up until, well, they were around, but they didn't actually turn up into it as a proper thing until 20 years before the whole thing kicked off. So they had a limited amount of stuff and action. Alpha Legion did serve for a little time alongside the Dark Angels, kind of. I said on Narth, or whatever it Null, or whatever it is, Nymph, the planet in Legion. One unit, I said that Geno 52 Chiliad was there. They were like some of the characters in there were from that unit. There was also the Lucifer Blacks. They were another elite, sort of one of the 100, the old 100 who were there. But I would, if you sort of go on Lexicanum or Wikipedia and just look up sort of the 100, the old 100, I think it's actually called, and they'll list like what's been mentioned of those units that make up the old 100. But yeah. Right. I'm going to get these on quickly. Makes sense. Postage found you can get away with any lower forces shacking up with each other on ships, really. Yeah, there's only like a few, like, again, like with regards to Guard or Imperial Army units, you've got with the Raven Guard, they had the Ferron cohort that served along with them, but they worked in conjunction with them and utilised them in missions because they had that sort of a close connection with the Ferron cohort. Yeah, strong magnets, I'll give them that. To celebrate, I'm going to have a mince pie. Yeah, so again, if you look up sort of like the salamanders, they may have something mentioned of like operating against alongside people, or I wouldn't go saying that, oh yes, the salamanders, you have the nocturne solar auxilia, because that's not how that sort of works. Again, and with nocturne, it's not really the way sort of certain planets, like you don't really get like a PDF for nocturne because the salamanders are there and they hold sway or whatever. These are 6x1, which is annoying because, you know, we had 5x1 are plenty for like Warlord Titans, and they decide, oh, we'll go 6x1. Same with like War Master Titans, we went 6x2. Why Games Workshop don't sell magnets, I don't know. Should get in on that action. All right, so after I've finished this mince pie, do we want to do Predators or do we want to do more Sicarans? I'll leave it down to you. So people in the chat, here's your time to vote with your fingers. Two for Preds. Don't apologise, I know what kids are like. So Predators or Sicarans being the next to build. So with that Marks and Spencer mince pie, that had a bit of brandy in it. So that was quite a mouthful of Jack Daniels mixing with the remains of the brandy. Right, free for Preds. Okay, we'll do some Preds. So, Sakaran's Law. It's the Preds. Now with these, although they've got holes in them, these have got quite a long thing. So these are just literally just push in. So, yes. Let's get pretty. I really must speak to Andy Hoare as well, because where we've done our sort of Emperor's Children together. Just wondering whether or not, because traditionally, going way back to the original sort of AT Space Marine type releases when they first turned up having infantry bases, whereas the infantry were in purple, their tanks were in a charcoal black colour, because they basically was run the colour they painted them because they was run out of purple paint. So I was wondering if he's going to be doing them in purple or black. I'm actually quite keen to do them in that sort of. I use like Corvus black for my Heritage scale units. Works for me. I'm hunting for reasonably priced Astartes tanks. I missed them on pre-order. The only tanks I have are 11 Rhinos. I did see on eBay they're selling these individually at $12.50 on eBay. The old Sicarans. When you say purple, but it sounds like Corvus black, that sounds really. But that's the history. If you was a true Emperor's Children's fan, the first time you see Emperor's Children's tanks, they're black. And there was a picture where you've got Legio Furians, the Tiger's Eyes, first introduced. They have a Titan standing there, and they had a converted. It used to be something you could buy from like Tandy, this like spaceship, noisy electric toy. But yeah, as I said, they're £30 for 6. No, you get in Sakarans you get 4, I believe. You get 6 Predators because there's 3 to a sprue. So 4 Kratos and 4 Sicarans in a box. So yeah, obviously if they're selling them individually, it's always going to be cheaper to buy them. Like, well, even if you bought them from like Bash, because doesn't he do like a 10% discount at Bash? But it's whether or not he's got a stock. Because that's the thing now. GW generally, he says, would have stock before anyone else. Wow, those prices are odd. Yeah, I actually learned the hard way when I was doing my because I had obviously an inkling that they was going to be bringing out Legions this year about March time, because I'd seen a few people like from associated to Games Workshop and that painting up tiny dudes or tiny tanks. So I thought, and I started buying up Aeronautica stuff. So I got some Xiphons off of eBay, which I thought was a really good price. Then realised that in a box of Xiphons you get 6, and I bought 3 for 3/4 of the price of what a box would cost me if I bought it from a shop. So, and they were still available back then. So a lot of the times, like with my Titans, when I was collecting my Titans, I'd go, I want to buy a Reaver Titan. So I'd look at the price of a Reaver Titan and then go, well, if I paid like another sort of £45 more, I could have 2 Reavers, 2 Warhounds, and 2 Knights. And that's why I bought a lot of starter sets. Because you are basically just getting, 2 Reavers, well, for the cost of 2 Reavers and a bit, you've got 2 Warhounds and 2 Cerastus Knights, plus all the gubbins. So that's how I sort of justified it to myself. Because one of my favourite film quotes is from the film Contact with Jodie Foster and John Hurt and Matthew McConaughey, amongst others. And it's where John Hurt's character, S.R. Haddon, the eccentric billionaire, after an incident that happens with the machine that they build, and he just says to her, the first rule of government spending, why buy 1 when you can buy 2 at twice the price? Yeah, that's it, Judge. Absolutely love that film, and I absolutely love that quote. But this one is kept secret, built by Japanese subcontractor, recently acquired by Haddon Industries. We still want an American to go. Want to go for a ride? It's such I love it. And I know that there's a lot. with that film, though, you do get people saying, "Well, why do aliens like look like that sort of thing? Why do they look like her dad and all that?" So because they're using her memories to not be like they could be like a real horror fest to look at that would break her sanity. So they're talking to her, using her mind and memories to convey. Why build one when you have two at twice the price? So watching, I remember my friend Jim when they first started like doing Blu-ray, and he like was one of the first friends of mine who got Blu-ray, and he got Contact on Blu-ray, and he just went hit the sound of his voice when he's talking about the scene when the machine is starting up and subsequently gets squitted. He he said like just watching it on Blu-ray was just like mind blowing. It's a good book by Sagan as well. Excellent film. Yeah. I have watched that film multiple times. It's one of my one of those films that I don't get bored of. I can just I can easily just sit there and watch it. Yeah, I know how it ends, how it goes, but it's just the watching, the journey. Right, that Knight's Tale is another one. I can happily just sit there and live along with. Good Will Hunting. Absolutely love that film. Hackers. It's got such a great soundtrack. I was actually reading something earlier on about James Webb Telescope, which like its second anniversary now, which seems bonkers. It doesn't feel like it's been up there for 2 years. But the all the information that's coming back, it's basically conflicting against the established sort of stuff like of Hubble expansion, the way the rates of the universe is expanding, and some parts are expanding faster than others. It's like really, nothing surprises me nowadays with the way the universe is. Yeah, this side's going extra fast, but this side not so much. I'll also throw another film that it's a more recent film that I enjoy watching. Interstellar. Do enjoy that movie, and Dark Knight Rises, which is my favourite out of the three. I like The Dark Knight. But Dark Knight Rises, I just love it. Yeah, again, because I like Anne Hathaway. But it was the one scene which just wins it for me is when the motorbikes go along the tunnelled freeway type thing, and then suddenly all the lights start going doo, 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 doo. And the old veteran cop turns to the rookie and goes, "Oh boy, are you in for something tonight?" As the Batman comes out of hiding to deal with whatever the fuck is going on. And then the chase day that follows as well. That's brilliant. We are in a black hole, right? Yeah, well, that's one thing that's come out sort of recently, that we are all in a black hole, which is quite well. I always used to have that worry after watching the film The Black Hole in my youth, and being worried about being sucked into a black hole. Because you thought, oh no, you're sucked into a black hole. Oh, you'll be stretched incredibly long, and infinitely long and infinitely thin, and you wouldn't know that you were actually dead because the time is so warped. It happens over and over and all that sort of stuff. But if we're already inside one, well, different kettle of fish, isn't it? Who knows where we are? Tell you what, I'm actually quite interested in when they bring out sort of other variants of Predators. Obviously, the Rhino chassis tanks, so the light tanks, whirlwinds as well. They're like a whole squadron of whirlwinds just firing, and the Scorpius. That'd be cool. So yeah, so they're quite long, so they're just sitting there quite nicely. So no magnets for them. Okay, so with where I've been talking about films that I can watch, they are pretty much like my top 5 movies. So what we got again? We got Good Will Hunting, Knight's Tale, Dark Knight Rises. Brain's gone. Contact. That's 4. Did I name a 5th? Oh, Hackers. Yeah. June, the new June, and the Spice Divers June, and even Lynch's June. I'd put them into the 6th place. So, what are your top 5 movies? Don't be scared. Tell me what ones you like. Your go-to movies that you can just watch. Doesn't matter whereabouts it starts from. If it's already playing on TV, that you would just drop everything and just watch it. So, The Thing, yeah. No, that's class one. Well, I love Kurt Douglas anyway. Not Kurt Douglas, Kurt Russell. Kurt Douglas I used to like back in like my younger years before I developed any sense of like taste and stuff. You know, I liked him in the Vikings in particular. I, I did watch. I didn't realise he was in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, because I watched it the other month because of where I'd been working on dystopian war stuff, and I painted the Nautilus as part of that. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to watch 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and it wasn't a movie I thought I was thinking of, because there was another one of those type of movies where there was like an undersea like place like Rapture in Bioshock that this submarine dude was going to, or whatever. It might have been Captain Nemo, I don't know. But watching that and seeing that Kurt Russell was in it, not Kurt Russell, Kurt Douglas was in it, Kirk Douglas, not Kurt, and that he was a bit of a jaunty swagger sailor walking along with 2 ladies of the night, and we shall say, who were called Minnie and Daisy, was a little bit on the nose for me, because it was a Disney movie, and Minnie and Daisy are 2 of the most recognisable names for Disney characters at that time. Hence a mouse and a duck. Hey, Tom. Don't matter, you can lurk as much as you like. Doing domestic blah. Lord of the Rings, Predator, Conan, Red Sonja, most Studio Ghibli. Yeah, that's cool. Battle of Britain. Every Ray Harryhausen is just fucking awesome. Jason and the Argonauts is one of my favourites. And like the Seven Voyages of Sinbad. Again, it's all that stop motion shit, and even Clash of the Titans that he had a say in as well. Mysterious Island. Um, you have to refresh me on that Mysterious Island. For some reason, whether or not it's because of the amount of Jack Daniels I've been drinking, but I keep on going back to the island of Dr. Moreau, which is, it was a mysterious island, to be fair. Full of wrong-uns. Oh, look at these little babies. Look at them. They're sweet. Little Pretz. Had Nemo and giant crabs. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll tell you, one film, one film I watched, or it was a film, but it was an old Buster, talking about crabs, Buster Crab, Flash Gordon, and I loved it because Voltan in it was just fucking bonkers, even more bonkers than um, Brian Blessed, bless him. Um, but they had a scene when they first land on Mongo. Um, there's basically they've done like rear screening projection, and they, you had the characters like sneaking along the front of the screen behind a rock, and in the background they had two iguanas, but obviously projected to look bigger, and they had these hats on, or horns or something. They extra appendages that they'd put on these two iguanas, and then they're letting these two iguanas actually fight. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing these two monster lizards that Flash is looking at, but he was literally two iguanas having a dust up whilst wearing these fucking hats. Um, Probably the greatest TV event ever. Um, yeah, you gotta check that out. But yeah, Harryhausen was just like, top of his game for everything. You knew it was a Harryhausen the way it was animated. Judy Bowler in Clash does all sorts of strange to me, but I can't tell you how much I'd love a Bubo. Ah, Bubo. But and Bubo was in the recent Clash of Titans as well, wasn't he? You like see him as like in the background or something like that. Bubo. He was great. Bubo was such a fucking hero in Clash of the Titans. Cameoed. Journey. I was watching that after doing 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I started watching that with James Mason, um, and again, that wasn't the one I remember was the one with Doug McClurin. That one. Um, whatever Journey of to the Centre of the Earth was with that, because it was like again, it was another type of journey to the centre of the Earth where they go underground. Because I was watching Journey to the Centre of the Earth and going, I don't remember this. There's a lot of Disney stuff like that I didn't actually watch as a kid. I have vague recollection of Captain Nemo, but I think that's because I was watching that. I watched it around a friend's house. But Love Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. I got a Harryhausen Blu-ray set about 10. Oh, really? Oh, fuck. I would actually, going with like stuff nowadays, with kids, I would definitely sort of try and get kids to watch the older style movies because you've probably got a bit more sort of story to them in comparison nowadays. They're there to tell a story. Slightly melted Star Bar now. If I can get into it, as it did melt. Ah, it actually came right. Look at that. Star Bar completely buggered. I love Star Bars. Ooh. Valley of Grangi, the death scene at the end. I can't get my kids to watch modern movies, let alone old ones. I've literally, with my daughter, managed to watch one movie. Like at home. We've watched movies at the cinema. So like we've been to the cinema a few times in our years. But watching movies at home, I tried to we had a day where I said like, okay, you choose one movie to watch, like that you like, and I'll choose one movie. And she chose this one movie, which was a really quite heartwarming tale about this kid who had a deformity. His face was all sort of deformed, and he used to go around wearing this little like space helmet. But he was like a really sweet fucking kid. He was a smart, clever boy, and they called him. His nickname was Oggy. I think Owen Wilson was his dad. I think, but it was a really sweet little story sort of thing. And she sat there with me. We watched it all, I went, okay. So here's a film that means a lot to me. Probably influenced my sense of humour and stuff growing up, which was a film called Better Off Dead. It's one of John Cusack's early movies. So it was one of those like funny, farcical sort of teen romance type things. And all that. So I started watching it, and then she just goes like, "Oh, does he end up with that woman and this sort of thing?" And I went, yeah. Oh, okay. And as soon as she said that, I just knew she'd lost all interest in watching it. She knew what the plot was. She was not interested, and she eventually just disappeared. I just went, "Oh, okay, fine." Get on with it. But let's say the film that she showed me, I really enjoyed. I'm quite lucky in that respect that I don't have. I'm not that sort of critical of things. If it entertains me and like, if I get bored with something, yeah, I'll I won't. I'll just go. Yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. French fries, French dressing, and Peru. Yeah, that's it. It's more the scene where him and Charles Charles Demar are up on top of the mountain, and he's snorting snow off his top hat. Hold it! This is pure snow. This entire mountain is made from pure snow. Do you realise the street value of this entire mountain? Oh, wow, I've frozen the left half of my brain. I can't feel my right arm. Or again, Ricky! Geez, sorry, Ricky, I blew your mark. Totally responsible to push back against mass brainwash of modern low-quality mouth breathers, Dross. We have done Thundercat, Starfleet, Clone Wars, Labyrinth, Back to the Future, etc. Starfleet. Is that the Japanese puppet one? X-Bomber, Starfleet, or are we talking? What do you call it? Star Trek. Because X-Bomber over here was called Starfleet. Starfleet. Although I did, oh no, I think it's on Amazon, or it might be on Disney. But they had or have Thunderhawks on there. Thunderbirds, I'll go. Yeah, Thunderhawks, Terrorhawks. Sorry, Terrorhawks. I'm thinking of. Terrorhawks. If you watch it now, you just go, It's a little bit. Oh, fuck me, so many fucking exhausts. Mysterious Cities of Gold. D'Artagnan and the Three Muskehounds. All for one and one for all. Muskehounds are always ready. Helping everybody. Sorry about D'Artagnan. There's the Milady movie, which has just been released, I think. Again, I used to like the like Three Musketeer movies that they used to do, like with Michael York, and then later on with Chris O'Donnell, when you had like Kiefer Sutherland, Charlie Sheen, uh, Olivia, Oliver Platt. Oliver Platt as Porthos the Pirate. Charlie Sheen as Aramis. I have a soft spot for Edgar Wright movies. No, I don't blame you. They're pretty cool. That's the one with Commander Makara. You said it in his voice, didn't you? Right, I'm lurking again. No worries, buddy. You lurk away. Space Ninja Gatchaman, aka Battle for the Planets. Yes, I used to have one of their toys. Again, I don't seem to remember it being in the actual show, but it was at the time in the 80s where a lot of the things like multiple, like Voltron, where you combine them all. So you had like 5 different vehicles, and they all combined to make one vehicle. Space Cruiser Yamato. Star Blazers, yes. Princess Bride is one of the all-time great movies. Yes, it is. I have the complete series of the original anime of SNG show that was never broadcast in the US, about 100 episodes. So one of my favourite animes that I used to love watching was Bubblegum Crisis. Unfortunately, they never, like, they had the one season of Bubblegum Crisis, and then they done Bubblegum Crash afterwards. But you could see there was a difference between the two, in the, like, the feel of it and the character development or whatever. But yeah, it was a shame really, because I used to love that. Like in the first season, it was like there was lots of little sort of storylines and stuff, and you know, each character got to sort of stand out. Although they did focus on Pris mostly, who was named after Daryl Hannah's character from Blade Runner. Because obviously Blade Runner had a very intricate thing where it influenced so many Japanese animes and mangas. Whole like Tyrell Corporation. You know, that building, the Tyrell Corporation building you see in Blade Runner, is basically called Genom building in Bubblegum Crisis. Much more adult with lots of death and tragedy. Those police stations. Oh, Dominion Tank Police. Are we talking about the stuff in Bubblegum Crisis, where they had their the battle suits, hard suits, like the K-12 police hard suit? But Celia Stingray, although in the second series they called her Celia Stingley. It's like, what? Who owns a lingerie shop, but is a the daughter of a scientist who created so much sort of mecha stuff, and she understands what she's doing. And she earns a lot of money from this lingerie shop, so she can actually build this higher technology hard suits. It's crazy, but that's anime for you. I'm finally getting around to watching Rebuild of Evangelion on the third film, where it takes a huge leap from the original anime. Never watched Evangelion. I've never watched Battle Angel Alita either. Appleseed, yes. I did think Appleseed, but because it was Dominion Tank Police. Bubblegum Crisis stuff was spread over so many studios and production staff over each series. The consistency was all over. Alita was good. Well, they wouldn't have made it mainstream if it was Steven Spielberg, would they? If it wasn't, or James, was it? No, James Cameron, wasn't it, who done Alita? Was it? It was James Cameron, wasn't it? Was he done that on his way to doing Avatar again? Yeah, because they also had Bubblegum Crisis 2056 as well, which I sort of started watching. Well, that's the thing, is when it had a great premise, but they just never really maximised on it. Though the one anime I have watched in its entirety so far is Bleach. Absolutely fucking love Bleach. Ichigo Kurosaki. I've been watching the 1,000-Year Blood War. Gonna call it, guys. Night. So first, thanks for dropping in, buddy. I hope you enjoyed your darts, and thanks for having us on and adding to the minutes watched. Take care, buds. Speak to you again soon. Ichigo Kurosaki. Watched most of Bleach and Naruto, but life moved on as it took so long. Well, if you have Disney Plus, Bleach in its entirety is there. Even watched the live action Bleach as well. It was enjoyable enough. But Renji, Rukia, Chad, Urahime, Ryu. They could have done a bit more with Bleach, and especially like support characters. Like in the 1,000-Year Blood War, the thing I enjoyed in it was obviously when you start hearing Hero playing, which is Ichigo's sort of theme music. You know that, oh, here we go. He's going to kick ass. He's going to absolutely ruin everyone. And it's great to hear that tune come on, because you're like, he's had his ass handed to him, and then suddenly he just finds the will or the power to draw upon and go and save the day and that sort of stuff. But in Thousand Year Blood War, because one of my favourite characters is Kenpachi Saraki, because he's just fucking straight up brutal. I love it. I just want to fight. I want to fight to feel the thing. But you find where that all comes from in Thousand Year Blood War, because there can only be one Kenpachi, because it's the title, and the person who was Kenpachi before Saraki was like, oh, really? I was surprised at that. But Kenpachi never had his a bunkai or his was it Shinju? So basically, like, for those who don't know, so like the Soul Society is a group of extraplanar people that claim the souls. When someone dies, they come and claim the soul, and they send it to the Soul Society. If they don't, then they get turned into what they call a hollow. So their heart of their soul is removed, and there's a hole there, and they turn into demons type things. So they go out, they stop the demons that are already out, and they claim the souls, and send them on to be reborn and all that sort of stuff. So you have people born within the Soul Society, and they live in their own little areas and all that sort of stuff. But when they become a Soul Reaper, you learn the sort of the martial traits of how to fight, and the power within you is represented by the sword that you get, sort of thing. You like manifest like this weapon or whatever, and the bigger the weapon, the more power that you have within you. And then you learn the sword has an intelligence about it, and when you bond with it and you understand it, you know its name, it gives you a power which allows it to do like amazing feats or whatever like that. But from there, you have this next level up, which is like semi-god tier type powerful attack type thing called a bonkai. Now, Kenpachi never learnt the name of his sword, and yet he's one of the most powerfulest Soul Reapers out there. He's a captain of the 11th squad guards of the Samurai, which is the organisation of Soul Reapers. There's like 13 court guard squads, and he never learnt the name of his sword, and yet he goes around and literally obliterates people. He wears an eye patch, and it was a special eye patch that was made to limit his strength, so that when he fights, the fights don't end too quickly, because he loves fighting, because he's after that high, that rush. So in the 1,000 Year Blood War sort of thing, he finally learns the name of his sword. So he basically finally listens and finds out the name of his sword, which gives him the power. I can never remember the name, because it has a name, but I can never remember the name of it, of what they call the first sort of level tier of power. And then his bunkai. So normally, like, a bunkai has a power where it fires like massive like thermonuclear flames, or it makes all sorts of weird shit happen or whatever. or stuff. They're all different. They're all different, except for um, except for Kenpachi Saraki's one. He basically turns into Angron. Literally, his bunkai infuses him, and he turns into like a red demon, and he just goes round and just annihilates everything. Um, he even in the latest series, um, the enemy had basically done something to draw an asteroid to come flying down to Earth, and he literally jumped up and split the motherfucker in two. And that was without his bunkai. That was him normal. But it's they do sort of drag out things quite a lot. So when they're having these duels and all that, and oh yeah, but I was doing this, but I should have been doing this, and like all that sort of stuff, just to make it more fun and interesting and all that shit. But Kenpachi is just fucking the nuts. He really is. Being able to turn into basically Angron and just go around going, ah, smash. Who wouldn't? Well, as I said, Bleach in its entirety is on Disney Plus. Not that I'm sponsored by Disney Plus. I'm just saying that's where it is. And there are some really cool characters in Bleach as well. And they escalate their backgrounds over time. So they learn more, like Urahime and like Chad in particular, and Rukia, Renji. Renji is just basically like a punk version of Ichigo. They look very similar. But it's like one of those shows that I thought, no, I've got to watch it all. I've got to. So I did. So yeah, las cannons on these little puppies. launchers. I do hope that they bring out some more. I know they've shown off a lot of the other kits they've got available for LI. I do hope they come out soonish, rather than later, really, because they need more stuff. Bring sort of stuff. Get all the see, they haven't re-released the all the aircraft either, have they? Stock things we can actually get, yeah. Predator Annihilator. And the Predator Destructor. So it's actually quite good that you can actually just, the size of the turret connector being so, it just sits in there nicely. So as long as you don't sort of shake them upside down or anything. Yeah, it doesn't help that the like I used to say, like with only so many spots on release schedule and stuff, with the setbacks that they had with the reprint and stuff, that made a huge impact upon production. Well, it's the warehouse space. So, like with the what do you call it, stories, like the box sets that they had for like the main box sets, they had them for several months before release, and then obviously problems were discovered and all that, and then they've rectified it, and that's why instead of coming out in August, it came out in November. But it's, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. So hopefully they will have things sorted out soonish. But even if they had to basically, you know, they, as a big company like that, they can just rent out, you know, temporary storage. But as Joe said, it's all down to when they can release it. Because obviously they have their itinerary of their other stuff that's being released. Wow, these are strong magnets. I was pretty surprised. So 2 hours 30 since the start, and obviously a lot of talking. We've got 3 predators, 2 Sicarans made. That's not bad, really, I suppose. Sorry. Wow. So, yes, that's not bad at all, really, when you think about it. They're nice, and you've got a nice bit of weight to them for the size. Quite nice. These are obviously lighter. They're smaller. They also do have magnets as well, so it adds to the weight. That's hope. Rapid fire back. Cannons with heavy bolters. So this thing packing out 4 heavy bolters and the rapid fire water cannons. Quite a nasty little beast. I went with these turrets on these just because I'm thinking about it. I could have fucking stuck. Could I? What's that? Yeah, I could have put heavy bolter turrets on them as well. We could use the ones from Predators. Never mind. They're quite nasty. Quite formidable. Indeed. I suspect a lot will unfortunately be direct only due to the large amount of products and other games which are larger. The direwolves, etc., are still awaited. It's a huge amount of stuff for a secondary game. I got all trim and bases and shading on the metals and a melter cannon finished during the stream. Productive. Well, that's great to hear. Well done. I'll probably be. I know we started early, but I'm tired. I'm probably going to have a little break and stuff, but yeah, I think that's pretty good going tonight. Getting these all built up. How do I say, like, really pleased with the Predator turrets, I say, because again, I don't think 6x1. Well, that's a 5x1. 6x1, there is still space. So it's purely for the what do you call it? The Sicarans. And who doesn't like las cannon equipped auto cannon Preds? So all cool. Obviously, against infantry, at least you've got a couple of shots of that and then 2 shots there. Great stuff, Lee. Always appreciate the stream. Happy Christmas, Primbo, to you all. Thank you very much, buddy. Happy Christmas to you too. I know Greg was asking last Saturday whether or not we will have a stream for Boxing Day. It depends, really, because I've got a lot of stuff going on over Christmas with the kids and stuff. So, possibly, maybe, but then obviously I'll be on for the Wednesday anyway. Well, that's the plan. Wednesday night from 8 onwards. But yeah, we will see. Anyway, thank you all for joining me this evening. It's been really, as I said, productive from my end. I hope it's been productive your end. And I hope that you have a great time over the next couple of days. You know, with Father Christmas, Santa Claus turning up at your door, dropping off some presents for you, or down the chimney. Night all. Thanks, Lee. Have a good Christmas, everyone. Thank you very much, Heat. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And I'm sure I'll see you elsewhere anyway. You little scamp. But yeah, I hope you have the best Christmas possible, and I hope you get lots of new interesting. I almost bought myself a Gundam today, a master grade Gundam. I popped up to Wayland Games. They do Gundams in store, and it was sitting there. I kind of like the look of it, but I weren't 100% taken on it. So it was like, and I thought, no, I'll just get what I came here for, which was some spray paint and some Corex Black. But little angel, so as if butter wouldn't melt in your mouth. But yeah, I'm still holding out for the right Gundam. The right one is out there waiting for me somewhere. But as I said, season's greetings to you all. A very, very well, I've got to know what one. Oh, Thunderbolt. I remember that name. It was a master grade Thunderbolt. They were selling it for about 77 quid. It's quite a big box. It has lots of appendages. Looks like a normal Gundam, but not a normal Gundam. But it's definitely called Thunderbolt. I remember that because I thought, oh, Battletech, they have a Thunderbolt in that as well. And that's meant to be pretty cool. But I literally, I picked it up twice. So that's how close. If I picked up a third time, I probably would have bought it. But I was thinking, like, where am I going to put it? Full Armor RX 78. Yeah, actually, hold on, I'll just have a look. Here's the one. Yep, here it comes, here it comes. Oh, sorry. That one. The Full Armor Gundam Thunderbolt. So they had that in stock in Master Grade. So FA 78, sorry. Fully armoured. So yeah, they're 85 quid at Travelling Man. Woo. So yeah, Wayland have two of these at 77 quid. So I like the colours, and it's not straight like normal Gundam. I built 3 Gundam last year, tons of fun. Not master grade, level below, high grade. That's a hard kit to get over here. All right. They've got 2 in Wayland Games in the store. I don't know if they've got any more on the online store. But the one that I liked the most is that one. That was one of my favourite ones. Marine type gun diver. That one. Look at it. Look at it. Because I like these bits on the back because it reminds me of Jetfire, the original Transformer version. That is a badass. Obviously, that one. That's high grade 1144 scale. Although the reviews on it said it's more like 1/100 with that one. That's a high grade as well. But yeah, I keep on like seeing them on like the Kajas Tria on various places, and I get scared. Yeah, I was looking on the back of it because obviously it has it all like the Gundam built, and then you have it all the bits like on the side. But it's more a place of like having somewhere to put it at the moment because I don't have a lot of space for arranging Gundams. Yeah, but that was when I first watched Gundam Unicorn. I really liked the NZ666. It really sort of like appealed to me. I just like the whole idea of it, the look of it, sort of thing. Although I must admit, I do like the Unicorn Gundam, the original RX 78 Gundam. I'm not a big fan of. I don't. It doesn't sing to me. Unicorn does, but that one doesn't. And that's the thing with all these Gundams. It's like you've got to find one that you feel that you can bond with. But yeah, the NZ666 is definitely one that I do feel a connection to. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's been a couple I've even seen on like eBay. There was one I saw that I quite like the look of. I don't know if it's not on eBay, on Amazon. Sorry. I don't know if it's still in my basket. Because I added it to my sort of basket or with yeah. So HG 1144 Gundam Command Quant model. That one. And I think because it just reminds me a little bit of Titanfall. I know who not to ask to put some shelves up. Yeah, we know who not to ask to put shelves up. But no, as I say, I've got a little sort of display thing. There's going to be some work going on in the next couple of months, and hopefully I will have some space for displaying stuff. But until then, Yeah, because I was wondering if there was a master. There is a master grade version of the NZ66, isn't there? I've definitely seen something somewhere. Well, the sad thing is like um, over in Japan, Gundams are so fucking cheap. It's ridiculous, you know. And I think Wayland was probably the first place I saw Gundams at a reasonable price. Like a master grade at £77 is cheap. Um, but yeah, maybe I don't know. I'll have to do some more research into it and obviously find what. It's just finding the one. That's what it is. It's just finding the one. Although I must admit the Thunderbolt was quite close. Yeah, they sell them from vending machines. Yeah. Ivy did bring me back a small like Gundam kit sort of thing. It worked out it cost like £5. So those chibi versions. I think the N666 only came in HD. Really? Akihara has a whole district dedicated. I'm sure again. I must, unless I'm dreaming. I'm sure I've seen um, like other N666 which had like like metal components and stuff in there as well. Return flight to Japan is 800 quid if that helps. It doesn't help. Um, honestly, I was seriously thinking because I would love. I've been to Japan once, but I didn't get out the airport because it was a layover, and I kind of regret that now. I really wished that instead of spending 10 hours in Narita Airport and the surrealness of being there, that I'd actually booked a couple of days at least to stay in Tokyo and like just gone around Tokyo, looked around some of the districts and stuff. Obviously, back then there probably wasn't as many, there might have been, there probably would have been some Gundam shops, but it depends on where it was. And obviously, going out there, at that time, I knew of Gundam, but I wasn't into Gundam. Sort of thing. I'm more into Gundam now than I was 21 years ago when I'd done my round the world trip. But that's another thing. Hopefully, if I plan it right, I can stay around at Ivy's. Once she's emigrated. So the flight's one thing, but staying somewhere, that's another thing. But it is apparently quite cheap out there, in comparison to other places. And trains run on time. Yes. Right. Okay. Well, thank you all for again hanging out. I all hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and we'll see you on Wednesday definitely at some point. Whether or not I'll see you on the Tuesday, which is the Boxing Day, possibly, depending. Who knows? Who knows how things happen? But yeah, so have a great Christmas. I hope that you get lots of wonderful toys and general gifts that aren't pants, socks, or deodorant or shower gel. But yeah, take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon. And keep on hobbying, and enjoying your time, whatever you do. And Godzilla rocks.